y'all, welcome back. So today I'm going to be doing a tutorial using drugstore products for a back to school look. I know those of you who are in college or in high school don't really have the extra funds to be going out and buying high-end products. So I thought I would keep everything drugstore, but I do have one high-end product that I will be using. I did want to mention it before moving forward with this video. So I'm going to be using the Too Faced Born This Way setting powder at one point in this video, but that's it. Everything else is drugstore. Before we get going on with the video, I did want to mention my background. I'm becoming more a fish in this YouTube world. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe before you leave. I upload every Sunday and Wednesday, and if you want to know how I got this look using drugstore products, just keep on watching. Alright, so to start out with, I'm going to be using the Natural Olive Cream Light Formula by ZIAJA. I think that's how you say it. The price of this, $12.99. And I'm just going to lightly pat that in. So I'm going to be going for like a more dewy look today. So I will mention the dewy stuff that I'm using, so if y'all don't want a dewy look, you don't gotta do it. Because I have combination skin. So I can get pretty oily. But I think I just want to do dewy for this look, because you want to look nice and glowy for the first day of school. Next for the under eye, I'm going to be using the Natural Under Eye Olive Cream by ZIAJA. And the price of that is $4.99. For primer, I'm going to be using the NYX eyeshadow base, and this is in the shade White. And you can get this primer at Ulta for $6.99. So to set that primer, I'm going to be using the City Color HD powder, translucent powder. Any translucent powder will work. And that powder is $5.49. I'm just going to pour some in my lid like so. I'll be using a Real Techniques. This is the setting brush by Real Techniques, and I'm just going to be dipping it into the powder and setting the primer. Even if you're going for like a natural look, it's always good to set your primer with a translucent powder to avoid creasing. I'm going to be using some tape. You already know. The eyeshadow I'm going to use is probably the most expensive thing out of all the products that I'm using. It still is drugstore, but it's more on the pricier side. It's the NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette. It was $16.99. Excuse me, it was $17.99, even worse. And I got it at Target. So I'm gonna zoom y'all in a little bit to my eyeballs. So I'm gonna be using my Luxie 205 tapered blending brush. I'll be dipping into this color right here, just to start my transition. Focus that color in the crease. Next I'll be dipping into this color right here. It's a shade darker than what I just put on. And I'll be focusing that in the crease as well. Next I'm going to be using a different brush. I'm going to be using the Glamour Dolls brush. It does not have a name, so Glamour Dolls, kind of a teeny bit smaller than the one that I just used. And I'll be dipping into this dark shade right here. So we'll focus that on the outer V and slightly bring it into the crease. Blend with my go-to blending brush by Crown. Just blend the edges very lightly. Next I'm going to be taking this very small brush by Verimona, and I'm going to be taking that same dark shade and putting it towards the inner part right here. Just a little bit right here on the inner V. And we'll use this same Crown brush and blend it out. Next I'll go in with this golden shade right here, and I'm going to be focusing that on my lid. I'm just going to be using my ring finger to apply that. And again, using that same Crown brush, we're going to blend the edges. I'm going to go back in again really quick with this dark shade again and kind of darken up the outer V. So we're done with the eyes for now. We'll go back in after I've put some of my face on. For primer today, I'm going to be using this NYX Honey Do Me Up primer. Like, this is literally like super interesting. Like, there's flakes of gold in it. And it was, y'all, this was $16.99, but it's so worth it. If you have dry skin, you need this in your life. So I'm just gonna put it all over the face. While that's drying, I'm just going to explain the foundation I'm wearing. I'm going to be wearing the Dream Liquid Mousse Airbrush Foundation by Maybelline in the shade Porcelain Ivory. I have not worn this in a long time. This was my shit in high school, so I'm excited to try it out today. I'm just going to dab it on my face. So to blend that out, I'm just going to be using my Real Techniques Beauty Blender. Sorry, I failed to mention the foundation is $7.99 and this sponge is $4.99 at Target. So the coverage is not full coverage, but you can definitely build it up. I'm gonna leave it like this, but you can totally build it up if you want. So to set that, I'm gonna be using the Maybelline Dream Wonder powder, and this one's in the shade 20 Classic Ivory. I'm gonna be using my IT Cosmetics C4-292 brush. If y'all can't get IT Cosmetics, do e.l.f. brushes. Those brushes are incredible. So I'm just gonna set my foundation. And the powder is $6.99 as well. So for concealer, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Makeup Stick Concealer. This is in the shade Nude for Thought. I'm just going to be putting it under my eyes. And on my chin, on my nose, and on my forehead. And this is $3.99. I love Wet n Wild products. And with that same beauty blender, I'm just going to be blending it out. So to set that, and this is the only product that is not Drugstore, and I do apologize in advance. So I'll be using the Too Faced Born This Way setting powder, and I'll be setting the concealer with this. So I'm going to be using the end of my beauty blender, and I'm just going to be dipping it in the powder. So I'm just going to put it below my eyes and everywhere I applied the concealer. On my chin, on my nose, and on my forehead. I'm going to apply it in my smile lines as well. And with this crown brush, I'll just be sweeping it away. So for brows, I'm going to be using the Brow Stylist Definer by L'Oreal. And this is in the shade Blonde. So I'm just going to comb them up. This is also a great dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. I mean, literally, this is the exact same thing. I hated the Brow Wiz when I first tried it, but I've learned to love it. So I'm just gonna zoom y'all in and apply. Sorry, I zoomed you in just a little more. Okay, then I'm going to do some light feather-like strokes in the front. And then I'll just comb it out. So to set the brows, I couldn't find any clear brow gel at Target or Walmart or Rite Aid. So I'm just going to be using my NYX spoolie. And I'm going to be spraying it with hairspray. And I'm going to be setting my brows. DIY. So spray the spoolie like so. And then set them puppies into place. For bronzer, I'll be using the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. You already know I'll be using my IBY Beauty brush to apply that. For blush, I'll be using the Wet n Wild Ombre blush in the shade The Princess Daiquiris. I'll be using my IBY Beauty blush brush to apply that as well. I keep forgetting to tell y'all the price. Okay, so the bronzer is $14.99 and the blush is $4.99. So I'm going to be going back in with this eyeshadow palette to do the bottom lash line. So I'll be using this light shade right here, I'll be going back in with this shade right here, and then I'll be using that shade right here very lightly for that dark shade. Then we'll go in with that dark shade. And then super, super lightly, like tap it off really, really good with the dark, dark shade. And you already know we'll be blending it out with the blending brush by Elizabeth Mott. I'm going to be using the Matte Finish Setting Spray by NYX. By the way, this shit stinks, but it's good stuff. For highlight, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild highlighting powder in the shade Precious Petals. And I'm going to be using my Royal and Langnickel to apply that. So this highlight is $4.99, and I failed to mention the NYX setting spray is $7.99. So I'm not going to be putting any eyeliner on today. Y'all can if you want, but instead in my waterline I'm going to be using the highlighting pencil by Cella, and I'll just put that in my waterline. And this I got in my Ipsy bag, but originally it's $17.99. So it is a little pricey, but any nude eyeliner works. So I'm gonna curl my lashes really quick. And this mascara is $8.99 and it's the most talked about mascara on YouTube from the drugstore. It's the Voluminous Lash Paradise Mascara by L'Oreal. It's literally one coat. Good stuff. Put that on the lower lash line as well. So my battery died. So I went ahead and just did my hair and everything. So last but not least, I'm going to be putting on L'Oreal lipstick, and this is in the shade Sugar Plum. Looks like so, and it goes on nice and sheer. And this lipstick you can get at Target for $8.95. So that completes my back to school look. Super easy for anybody to achieve. If you really want to get great products for a very inexpensive price, Wet n Wild is the best way to go. Their products are so good and they have such a good price. If this video did help you and you want to see more tutorials like this and with drugstore products, please give this video a thumbs up and I will see y'all in my next video. So for bronzer, I'll be going in with the Butter Bronzer by Physician. Butter Bronzer. That's a new one. Right here, it says shade. And that powder's 5. Spray this